All right, so let's find ourselves a breathing position. Take yourself into a comfortable face up or face down, whatever you prefer. Micro adjust your posture. Just make sure everything feels relatively comfortable and connected. How does that sound? And then I'm just going to focus on breathing in and out through my nose, trying to get as deep a breath as possible. And then a long, slow exhale works well. I'm going to transition us from here to some knee bends and ankle mobility work. It's always nice to take the time to do a little breathing before you start your session. To integrate the nervous system into the movement ahead. Got a strap around my foot, just pulling my knee into the shoulder and extending up and backing the leg off to a distance that I can fully extend my knee. I'm going to spread my toes, pull my toes towards my shin. We'll go through about 5 of these movements as we progress from the knee bends into the ankle. Your non-working leg can be straight or bent, just micro adjusting the back, making sure everything feels okay for this. And just gifting your knee and ankle joints the opportunity to find the range of motion that you currently have and with consistency improve it. So now I'm doing my point and flex of the ankle, keeping the leg still and the knee in an extended but not locked position. I'm going to go nice and slow and find the end range of the moves and then transition to ankle turns, sole of the foot rolling in and out. I'm changing the angle, pointing my toes up, kind of halfway, and then back to the shin. And then for the circles, let's just do a couple slow circles, trying to just really trace where you can go without moving the leg. I'm getting a good stretch through my calf today. How about you? We always, when you do this often enough, you start to realize how the body is constantly changing. Okay, let's switch sides. Take some time to adjust the posture again. And knee bends and extends. Holding the leg out, spread the toes. Focus on the ankle range. Point and flex. Rolls. Different angles. And very slow circles. Today is one of those days, I just feel like I could do that a lot longer. Okay, but we have to move on. Cat cow. Let's take it to hands and knees. And just spread the fingers, have the hands and knees wide enough that you can just gently start to move through your spine. Maybe starting in the low back, slowly dropping the front side down to the floor. As you get through your shoulder blade area, maybe gently draw them together. Shoulders away from your ears, and I'm looking up. Ooh, there's extension. Now, starting in the low back again, can you slowly start to round up into flexion? Gently pushing the floor away and separating the shoulder blades. As you drop your head down, let your head be heavy. Stretch the back of the neck. 1 or 2 more cycles of this. I'm going to take us from here to half kneeling. If you could have a ball close by, that would be handy. Just a little ball or a weighted ball would be fine if it's not too heavy, one pound or so. Okay, so in half kneeling, we'll start with just lining up the hips and opening up the foot. Spread the toes and connect with the floor as you pulse the knee forward over the midfoot. You want to be checking that you're not like in an up position here, so that's why you want to level and then feel like you're getting into the knee and ankle. You can certainly bring the heel in closer, but just try not to lift the heel off. Take the front leg out on an angle, and we can pull that heel in again. Do a few pulses. And then extend that foot further away from you. And as you pulse now, you'll feel more of a stretch in through the hips and pelvis. Just mindfully sinking into that stretch. Return to some deep breathing. I'm going to take us through our shoulder cars single arm today. I'm going to start with a small ball. Just have my foot placed somewhere that I feel I can be stay fairly connected. Taking the ball to one hand, I'm going to slowly bring it up. And being mindful not to show you from the side, arch the back, to get into the shoulder mobility. So keep your posture stacked, looking straight ahead. As you bring your arm around, push back, find the range of motion you can access, not moving through any pain. And then you can tuck the hand into the small of the back, as high as it will go. And then slowly start to rewind that. Nice deep breathing. Working deep into my whole shoulder complex there. Okay, let's switch sides. We'll do the same. Then we'll change the down knee. Looking upright. Very controlled rotation of the shoulder. Taking some time not to go fast so you can access whatever mobility you have there. My hands tucked up the small of my back. Now I'm slowly rewinding. And this is a great way to prime the shoulders for the strength training that we have ahead. Okay, so ball down, switching sides. Started with leveling. So if you're not sure about how to do that, I find my hip bone, and that's not really your hip bone, it's your pelvis, anterior superior iliac spine, if you're going to get technical, but right in here, up to the armpit, then level, so you can kind of sense of that shift. Okay, enough anatomy. That thing in there, real technical. Some pulses forward. Did you check the heel? Bring it in just a smidge. Okay, and then we've got the angled work. Heel a little closer. A few pulses and then further out. Some stretch in through the thighs, right into the pelvis. Okay, then I'm going to return to the shoulder cars. This time I'm going to go up a little bit with a bigger ball. It's just slightly heavier. If you have really no problems with your shoulders, you could even do something like this with a 1-pound dumbbell or a can of soup. But until you're there, use a ball or just a light fist. Be patient with yourself. It's time well spent working on the shoulders so we can get the upper body strong. Definitely a little bit more challenging with this heavier ball. Switching sides. Lots of focus needed here. Okay, we'll take it back down to hands and knees, going into some frog circles first. So take my knees a little wider than my hips, find back to be neutral. So not too rounded, not too extended. And sit back over to one side, swiveling through your hips, and then back to the hands, weight shifting, using the fingers, not just loading at the wrist. Let's go for 2 slow circles in each direction. And return to some deep breathing. Again, through the nose, in and out if you can. Okay, taking some time to extend one leg out to the side. It doesn't have to be straight to the side. It can be anywhere in this line that feels comfortable. You might need to adjust your hands and your down knee, keeping the sole of your foot flat. Start to rock back. As I sit my hips to my heel there, I can definitely feel some increased stretch response through my leg. I'm going to do 5 rocks with the sole of my foot on the ground, and 5 where I start to introduce the rock where I bring my toe up and externally rotate my whole leg from my hip. And then as you come forward, drive the toe into the floor and lift the heel. That's your internal rotation. So if this feels pinchy, bring your leg further back. Give yourself some grace and space as you start to explore how this feels. Lift the toes as you rock back and the heel as you rock forward, and then try to keep the back and the rest of your body neutral. So if you're rocking back and going into a big arch, find your back neutral, rock back, try to make that movement come from the hip. All right, let's switch sides. So finding a place that you can keep the sole of the foot on the ground, adjusting the hands and the down knee. 5 rocks with the foot flat. I'm just sinking into my stretch response. Find that end range, come forward, and now I'll add the full leg, toe up. I sit back, heel up as I rock forward. After you've done your 5 rocks, find neutral back. We'll go into some opposite arm and leg reaches. So I'm going to take some time to lightly tuck my toes, center the weight between my hands, and push the floor away. So I've got my chin tucked. You can take your opposite hand and knee off into a hover, and I want you just to play with different positions. So you could come out here, hold it for a breath cycle, and slowly bring it in with control, and then match it on your second side. We'll go through this about 2 more times, but take a variety to each reach. So now I'm going to extend my heel back a little more and my hand out in front. Anything really goes. You can kind of match what I'm doing. You could go a little further out, but as you reach, be mindful you're not losing your core box position. So the head isn't dropping, the shoulders aren't collapsing, the hips aren't tilting. All of these things are things to watch for, that you're maintaining the control that you want, and with the breath as you do the reaches. So 3 or so in total. We'll stretch out the wrists for a moment and give them a few circles. And then set yourself up for a high arm plank. In this program, you have the option of holding the plank, activating the hips for about 3 to 5 breath cycles. And if you want an add-on, you can push away from your hands and stretch through your heels and calves. So it's a rocker. So I'm getting some movement through my toes, and I'm weight shifting forward and then pushing away from my hands, stretch through the heels and calves. So depending on how hard that is, just make it your own. And then we'll take it onto our backs and come off the wrists for a bit. Taking a stretch strap, extending it around the middle of the foot. And although I program this as a row, working the postural muscles between the shoulder blades, there's lots more going on with it. So first you check the tension. Leg is straight, okay? So you might need to back that off to wherever you can. Toes to the shin. Check the tension, so then I can feel my shoulder blades, adjust my chin. That feels right. The non-working leg can be bent or straight, and if it feels okay on the back, I feel it when you pull straight. You can get a nice connection through your torso muscles in the front side of your body. My chin is tucked. I'm looking for about 10 pulls. This tension is medium, so it's not too easy, not too hard. I can change the width of my elbows. Continue with some deep breathing. And really working, I can feel my shoulder blades connecting to the floor, but also closer to my spine. And as I change the angle, I'm getting a little bit more recruitment, or just a different feel through those postural muscles. After 10, switch. I think today is a bad counting day. When I'm talking, it's hard to count at the same time. There we go. So realigning the posture. Really nice for the chin and neck to just have that little gentle connection with the floor as my elbows hit the floor. If you have a big curve in your back, you can teeter that down a bit and just really feel the front side of your core muscles. And then I've paired this with the single leg bridge, 6 to 10. And we're going to go through the row and the bridge one more time. So if you don't like single leg bridges, you can keep both feet on the floor, align your posture, and bridge up. But the single leg bridge, a little harder, or should I say a lot harder? You want to make sure that you bring your hips up level. This is a work in progress. So if you're new to this kind of thing and you're like, oh, that's really hard to keep level, or maybe you feel a little bit crampy, then just switch. Don't try to push out 6. Do a couple and then switch. And then it's like, okay, maybe I'll try a double. So if you're in that stage of you're growing your strength, don't have to stick to 6 to 10 single leg bridges. But this comes around quite quickly, right? As you come up, full hip extension, so not too low, not higher than this, so you're in your back. And just really thinking about mind muscle. There's my hip activated and there's my hip released. If you have the posture where your rib cage is flared, you need to tuck that down a little bit so that when you bridge up, you're making this a hip-driven movement and you're not into your back. Chin tuck's also good. Nice. Okay, back through both of these. So we get another opportunity to work on the posture and the row. Find that tension, maybe a little bit more. Adjusting the non-working leg. Getting a nice time at length for my leg that's up in the air. And here we go. Can you hear me counting? 10. Switch sides. Adjust posture. There we go. And one more round of the bridges. Often when I start a set of exercises, if I give a rep range or some sort of variation, just as I'm starting, I have a little inner dialogue to myself, like, okay, I'm going to do 6. If that feels too easy, I'll keep going. But I kind of make a mental target with most exercises. Things feel different on different days. You didn't sleep that well, you went for a long walk yesterday, that kind of thing. So just listening to the body and working, trying to find that sweet spot is what I suggest. Let's do one more of the hands and knees reaches, and then we'll come to standing. So just taking some time to find that back position again. Spread the fingers. See if I can be a little bit more creative this time. I'm going to reach on a diagonal. Is that creative? Nice strong breath in and out. Bring it in. Switch sides. 3 of these different options, holding for 1 full breath cycle. At least. Want to make it harder, hold it longer. I'm going to extend straight back with my heel and forward with my arm, palm facing in. Can I get my thumb to the roof? Just a little bit more. Bring it in with control. And one more, I'm going to try a drift this time, but not a full reach. So here, now I'm going to drift my toes and my fingers to the floor, bring it back up, bring it in, switch, drift, lift, and in. Okay, some nice challenges for the back posture. Coming up to standing, I'm going to go with some weight shifts, connecting the feet. I like my firmer mat for this, just spreading the toes. Got a sticky mat, weight shifting side to side. Slowly taking a little bit more time on each side. Things to watch for from the side position is that you're not locking out your knee. So softness in the knee. And as you go to some balance reaches, if you're going to set up your foot, I like to sometimes just give it a quick roll and then open the toes, then weight shifting into that foot. And then as I go into the balance reach, I'm as connected as I can through that foot. My toes are long. I have big foot history. Do I say that every week? But my toes want to curl and crunch. So I try not to do that. I'm like, set up my foot, open all my toes, connect them with the floor. I'm using my toes, but as I weight shift and reach for my balance, I'm often thinking about what's going on in the foot. Can you get the arms a little higher? Extend the heel back to the wall behind you. Okay, wherever you're at, let's go at least one more per side. Nice, everyone. A couple of body weight squats because the next exercise is a halo and squat. So just checking how things feel, nice and even. For the halo, we want to take a dumbbell or a kettlebell that you can circle around your head, one circle each way, and then pull yourself into a squat. So depending on what you have available to you, this is a 10-pound dumbbell. Find your squat stance and then look straight ahead. You don't want to lean back or to the side. So this is working your core, shoulder mobility and strength. And then of course, squats. About 5 rounds of this. So a round would be one circle each way. And a squat. Nice deep breathing. Trying not to move the head straight ahead. One more. Okay, next up we'll go to plank or push-up variations. So if you are at the stage where you're working against a wall or a piece of furniture, you're still finding that strong plank position, connecting your shoulders, activating your hips a little bit, pulling yourself in. I like to think about working the shoulder blades together as I pull myself in. Variations from the floor. Could put a big pillow underneath your front side to lower yourself to, or just work on the lower to the floor. Coming up with no push up, but just working the lowering phase. Maybe it's a little half push up. You want to find that plank position though. So if you feel you're losing your posture, which would mean shrugging, swaying the back, dropping the head, all these things, plank position, lower, and then eventually you're going to have that strength to push up. It's like magic when it happens. It takes a while, depending on your consistency, but I've seen some magic and I've felt some magic. So stay with this, whatever it is. If it's just another lower, what can you do today? What's that internal dialogue telling you? There's a nice lower. A lot of strength to be gained in the lowering phase. That looks great. Okay, so as you finish off that set, don't let me rush you. We go back to the balance, and this time, if you would like to add load, I'm going to show the balance with a 10-pound dumbbell. The load is not going out in front, it's going down. So I'm going to set up my foot again. This time I'll stick on one side for 3, but if the balance reaches to the furniture or in the air is where you're at, then just please stick with that. Don't load until you feel ready. So something that you would watch for with this is that the load rounds your back. So you want to be connected to the shoulder blades. Take your breath in. And it's like the crown of your head and your heel are moving in the same plane. These are complex exercises. There's lots going on. So don't get frustrated with a bad rep, but give yourself some congratulations for trying. By the way, I always say bad reps don't count. Not so bad reps, like so-so reps, we can count those. So switching feet, taking some time to set up that foot, lengthen out my toes. Take a breath in. Only going to a depth you feel you can control, and then coming all the way back up to posture. Good. From here, right back into the halo. Nice slow squat to a depth you can control. It's always a good idea. Don't go somewhere that you're like, let's just see this, see how this feels. Just go where you can control, push out of it. In time, the range that you can control will increase. Nice. I'm counting this time. There's 5. Good. Don't forget to stay hydrated. We're into the push-ups, and then we're going to change the set. Very nice. Find my plank. Spread the fingers, step back, activate the hips. Find that number. Feel free to take a little break. Shake out the wrists. If the break is 20 seconds or less, the brain kind of perceives it as the same set. So it's a great way to continue to build that strength. Maybe I have 1 or 2 more. 1 and 2. Okay. Moving sets, we're going to an overhead press and a reverse lunge. Step back opposite to the weighted hand. So if I have the weight in my right hand, I'm picking a weight that I can press overhead. If you can't press overhead, you could just hold this for a breath cycle, and I'm stepping back with the opposite leg into that reverse lunge. About 6 of these per side. Take your time to get set. Step back, get control of your balance. Drop down, come back to posture. Good. Use the muscles on top of your shoulder to press up, and then use everything down. Pull it back to this rack position. There you go. Did you pick the right weight for your 6 reps? So just always keep that in mind, because sometimes you might need to change that. Now we're going with a open band pull, so a stretchy band, palms are up. Take some time to connect with your feet and then check the tension. You don't want to be putting torque into your wrists or elbows. And as I open, I'm pinching my shoulder blades together. I'm also trying to stay upright and solid. If I didn't stay upright and solid, I might lean back a little bit or shrug as I pull, right? Or lock the knees. So it's like you're a pillar of strength. Check your tension. Go for some different angles. About 10 of these. With this one, you kind of know enough is enough. We have 2 more exercises in this set. One is a skater. So with a skater, you have a couple options. If you have hardwood floors, a cloth on a hardwood floor works well. If you have carpets, sometimes a saucer or a furniture slider, it's out on a 45-degree angle and coming back up. Now, if you don't have any of these things, all you do is just work on a tap and a stand up on a 45-degree angle. The nice thing about finding something that you can push with is that you get a little bit more work in, especially as you come back up. I'm pushing out. I can feel my hip a bit more, and I can feel all my inner thigh as I come back up. Up to 10 of these per side. You could add some reciprocal arms. I think this is week 3 of this program, so there's certainly time to do a little discovery in your home as to what you could use for the sliders, half skate, that kind of thing, all the way back up to posture. Modifying the rep range just based on how this feels. And the last exercise is our deadlift. So some days you might be feeling like you want to do a heavier deadlift, and some days a lighter. I think in the last few weeks, I've demonstrated both. So I'll start with some dumbbells. Our rep range around 6. If it's very light, you could go 8 up to 10. If it's heavy, maybe you're doing a 4 or a 5 rep. Inhale as your hips go back. Exhale as you come up to standing. Now you don't have to rotate open. If you want to take the extra time to do that, I feel like it's a good add. This is a hip hinge, so the hips go back to a depth you can control your back. You want to watch that you're not rounding your back or overextending your back as you go back. So you just get tall, slide your hands down your thighs, inhale, come forward. Now I'm activating my hip muscles a little. I just realized that I'm breaking out into a sweat. Okay, heavier lift, and then we'll go back through this set one more time. So heavier lift, exactly the same move. My hips go back, I anchor myself to the weight, breathe in and lift. Breathe in and hips go back, controlling the lower. So I'm not letting the weight control me, I'm controlling the weight. So just be mindful of that. I'm a big fan of lifting heavier when it feels right. You have to have things available to you to lift. Like, make a makeshift bag with something heavy in there. We can deadlift that. Okay, so let's go back through this set one more time and we'll call it a day. Press and reverse lunge. So I found that weight. I knew that was going to be working for me for the press overhead. If your shoulder's bothering you, you could just make this the reverse lunge, opposite to the weighted side, or you can go ahead and do the press. Up to 6 per side. Good. Switching. Good focus. Last 2 reps. Listening to my body, but I got it. Good. Stretchy band for the pulse. Okay. Connecting the feet. Think about that posture alignment all the way up. Check the tension. Feels about right. Focus on some deep breathing in and out through the nose. Wonderful. And then into our sliders. I'll show you from the side here. Going on a 45-degree angle. You can add some reciprocal arms. Putting a little pressure into the floor as I come back up to standing. No slider, no problem. Here's the version where I tap and come back up. Tap, come back up. There's a lot going on with this move from a balance, whoops, other wrong foot, perspective, the connection that you have with the foot that's the base foot. If this is happening, you want to control that more. So that could just mean, where can you go with control? It's possible this exercise is a little too hard for you. So you want to work, we want to continue to get stronger in other ways. But if you've got a little bit of control, even if you're just tapping a wee bit out, it's great for knee stability. Just have that awareness that you're not caving in. It could be coming from above or below. That maybe you need some shoe support, right? So that brings a whole can of worms for us to open. But sometimes with these lunges and things, you need to put your shoes on. You're not going to have the support you need without something underneath your foot. Okay, some deadlifts. Hips back, anchor in the shoulders, take a deep breath. Hips, smiling, another deep breath, lowering it back down. If you just have one weight, you can still do a hip hinge and back up. So I was encouraging you to look around the house to try to build like a grocery bag full of some heavy books and start getting more and more load through these hip hinges. I feel like the dumbbells and kettlebells are a small investment for the decades ahead to have in the home environment. And they look so nice. So consider treating yourself. Thank you so much for building a stronger version of yourself and growing your strength with me in the group. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you.